All right, we're back with the Tri-State Sports Guys. Top of the Cable Ready Studios here in Norwalk, Connecticut. Final segment, 5 and 10. I'll tell you, Shawnee was in with me. We had a tough time keeping it 10 minutes, but I think with me and you here.
6 minutes on the one I saw.
Well, it was
the
on.
first one.
It was on. We were talking Norwalk High football.
Yep.
So let's get right into it. First 5 and 10 topic comes from Sean, who actually is a Norwalk guy, but now he's down in Tampa. Sean Hartman, good friend of the show. He wanted us to know about. You want to talk a little bit about the Big East realignment?
Boise State.
Frustrates the hell out of him. San Diego State being in there, and more so about. I mean, all the talk is about the realignment in football, but you look at it, and a lot of these schools that are just joining just for football. But you look at, Big East. We had the argument about Big East was the best, clearly the best college basketball.
Not anymore.
It just frustrate you, and clearly it's money driven. Clearly that they make more money on college football than they do on college basketball. But for us up here, we don't. Look, Northeastern people, we don't care about college football. I watch college basketball, a couple times a week. I watch college football when it's on, and whatever. But you know what I'm saying? It doesn't frustrate you as much, maybe because you're not a UConn fan. But when you, I take a lot of pride in Big East basketball.
Well, you can let go of that because there's no point. It's pointless. But if you're like a Rutgers fan,
it doesn't hurt UConn.
If you're a Rutgers fan, for example, you would be excited that Boise State's going to be playing.
But it
doesn't make any sense that they're playing you every year. But you would be excited to be able to play a team like Boise State.
It makes no sense at all, though. Then
I don't get it.
Why even call these divisions, whatever they, these conferences, whatever they call them? Why call it the Big East if it's clearly not the East? It's just a joke, and that's one of the reasons why there's so many people that are all about. That's why I watch college. I don't watch the pros. College is so much more pure and this and that. It's
garbage. It was a good move for the Big East football because they wanted to keep the BCS bid, right? Isn't that why they did it? Because right now there's
people were jumping ship on the Big East.
Yeah, but right now the Big East.
But they were always going to keep it. I don't think they were ever going to lose their Big East. They were ever going to lose their BCS.
If they were awful, they would.
They were always been awful. The Big East couldn't be any worse than they were.
The Big East was pretty good a couple years ago, dude.
When? The UConn played in the BCS Bowl game last year.
A couple years ago.
Yeah, they had West Virginia,
and
Rutgers. Rutgers had one good season.
That was I'm talking about that year. Rutgers, West Virginia, and Louisville.
You come in here and talk about Rutgers football.
I'm just talking about
we're talking about that makes them a good conference.
I'm talking about the year that they had a legitimate team that could get to the BCS. I'm just telling you. That was why they had it. The West Virginia was good every year. West Virginia almost went to the national title game. They didn't lose to Pitt.
Right. Which is in the Big East.
Yeah, right. But what I'm saying is West Virginia was going to go to the national title, so it's not like they're awful. They were going to the national title.
Right. But the conference itself has got some terrible
But now Boise State helps them, so I understand.
Well, no, I understand that now. But they didn't do that to keep it. They did that because they could entice a Boise State to say, you come over here, or, they were trying to get TCU.
I think they did it to keep it, man.
I disagree with you there, but... All right, let's move on.
Who's negative now?
Well, you're just not making any sense.
You just
talk nonsense.
You're a hater of Rutgers. That's all right.
Let's talk about. Can we talk about Iona basketball?
Let's do it. They won today.
Iona basketball. Last year we basically elevated St. John's to where they were because before anybody else was really talking about St. John's, we were on the St. John's.
Listen, we elevated them so much. People don't even know this.
Yeah.
You know this. We elevated them so much that our very own friend to the show, Tariq Turner, got a job working at full-time SNY Big East Sports Desk, and he does games on ESPN.
We did a nice reference. I put it together, and I thought it was a pretty nice letter.
We elevated the program literally from the ground all the way to the commentators,
all the way up, and that's what happened. So I think this year it's going to be Iona basketball.
Could be.
Because I am so on board with that. Dan Corden is a friend of the show, a contributor to the show, wrote a great article about them early on, about how they had some great scorers on that team.
Yep.
They got a prolific offense.
Here's my thing
Let's be honest about it.
Yes, here's my thing about Iona. From a guy like me who's not a big college person because where I grew up this wasn't that big.
Yeah.
I need someone that I can go back to, like a Chris Mullen, and say, you know what? I'm buying into this team.
Yeah.
The only guy I can think of, if I remember correctly, is Jeff Ruland, who used to coach Iona, the big man for the Sixers. I'm pretty sure he was a coach.
Okay.
So I'm going to do some more homework and figure out.
Find out a guy.
And I just want to
get another jersey.
Exactly. That's the point. That's the point.
Right.
I can't just buy some jersey from some guy that no one knows.
Right. I mean,
that's what's hurting.
There's articles on Sportsline, there's articles on ESPN.
We were the first.
But we were the first. I mean, we broke
Dan
them,
Coren,
and we're going to be on top of Iona basketball.
Now, did he go there, I assume?
I assume.
I hope so. I hope for Dan's sake he did.
I almost hope he didn't, because that'd be awesome if he is just really into Iona basketball. They're right around the corner.
You're right. I hope he didn't.
I hope he didn't.
I hope he went to like freaking UCLA or something.
Yes. All right, moving on. Let's talk a little bit about the Heisman this year. Now, I was excited about it. What I liked about the Heisman is there was not that one where it was like, okay, it's definitely going to be this guy. And it really was, so up in the air. There was people calling in different talk shows, making arguments for several different people. Mm-hmm. Who did you think was going to win? And who did you want to win? I thought Luck was going to win, but I didn't want him to win.
I did not think. I thought the running back Richardson
was going to win. I thought Richardson was good. I mean, he had 900-yard games or whatever he had. But I thought Luck was going to win just because of the hype that's been around this guy all year. But the games that I've watched 4 games of his. He is not overly impressive.
I'll be honest. The whole time that people talk about how good Andrew Luck is, I've been embarrassed to say, I thought maybe I just didn't understand the game. That I never thought he was as good. Now he's got talent.
Yeah.
But he has not performed. When I watch him as a guy, I'm like, that's the best player I've ever seen. He may be the best pro, but as a player, I'm like, every time I watch him play, I'm like, he's not that good. Now maybe it's his receivers, but you know what? To me, I didn't think he ever deserved it. I was surprised, and I was embarrassed to say it, so I just cut it to myself.
I was in the same boat. But then the reason I'm not embarrassed is because every year we look at Mel Kiper's draft boards and all these guys' draft boards, and they're wrong about everybody.
The thing about Robert
they're wrong
Griffin,
about so many people.
The thing about Robert Griffin that bothers me is as talented as he is, and he's got a lot of natural talent, and he's made a lot of big plays. His team lost a lot of games. So that being said, why did a guy with better statistics and like Houston quarterback Keelan, or I think his name is, he got knocked out essentially because he lost the game?
Yeah, I don't know.
Robert Griffin lost 3 games.
Yeah, to not great teams. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. So it was like, why all of a sudden they eliminated the Houston guy because he lost at the end of the year to a bad team, and here's a Baylor team that lost 3 times.
Right. And they play a little tougher schedule than Houston, but yeah, I agree with you. I mean,
I was just surprised that they didn't even consider the guy from Houston.
Right. I mean, I think a lot went into. I mean, he is known as he's like a 4.0 student. I think a lot of those things, even though they're not supposed to go into it. That he's this great guy. He went there to run track. Really,
I think it's a down year.
I agree with you.
Is that bad to say?
But it's not a down year in that. I just think that. Yeah, maybe down.
It was a weird year because you had a guy. The ball, I told you that a couple weeks ago, the guy from Wisconsin is like 3 or 4 touchdowns away from the all-time record. He's 35 touchdowns this year.
Yeah.
And he came in 4th or whatever he did. It's like, it just tells you there's a lot of guys who have padded their stats, but in every big game they play, don't do well. Yeah. Robert Griffin lost 3 games and he's a quarterback.
Right.
Francesa was all over it talking about how, quarterbacks got to win games, and that's why Keelan's out. And that's why Barkley got screwed because this team, whatever. I don't know.
To me, Barkley was the best quarterback in the nation.
I don't know if he was the best quarterback. What I know is that every time I saw him play, he played very well.
He outplayed Luck. When they both played Oregon, he seems to play better than Luck every time I've watched him. Now, I don't know. I mean, I played quarterback, but I don't know.
What about the guy from Oklahoma State, the wide receiver? Is he not good?
Yeah, he's a stud.
They don't even talk about that guy.
Yeah, no,
I don't know.
I don't know. All right, well, we got one more local story to talk about. Then we're going to get to your potpourri. But there was a story that just broke. New Canaan, Connecticut, which is the town right next to our studio where we film. They had an 8th grade football team. New Canaan, everybody doesn't know, in Connecticut's always has a very good football program. Their high school team this year went to the state championship game. They lost a hand. They're always very good. They were good when I was around. So their youth program was always very strong. This year they finished in 3rd place in their division, or they were 7-2-1, which is a disappointment. So after the season, the coaches, there's just 3 guys, they had the kids meet at some park, took their trophies, their 3rd-place trophies, and they burned them to say, we're getting rid of this season, it's a disappointment. Which I thought is actually the reason why this town is not a big town, so they shouldn't be as good as they are, but they have this winning tradition.
Yeah.
And that's where it starts, the youngest level. Well, some parent anonymously complained, and all 3 of them had to resign and quit coaching 8th grade football. I mean, to me, that's the most, at so many levels, it's so ridiculous. First of all, how are you going to anonymously complain? Have the balls to go and complain and say, go whatever. I am Mr. Smith, and I think, but no, you anonymously complain, and then the people who run the league are just scared about whatever, and then they let these people go. I mean, do you have any problem with that?
When I was 12, Stan Manis, his son, we lost him championship, and we got our
This is Little League.
Yeah, we got our second place trophy, and Stan Manis threw the trophy.
This is the coach?
Yeah. No, he was just a parent.
Yeah. Oh.
He was like an assistant coach, but he wasn't like a
yeah.
And he just said, "This is not acceptable." And I was shocked when my dad just said, "Whatever. Like, who cares?"
Exactly. Exactly.
Who cares?
Who cares?
You know what? This is we're young parents, so we can't talk like we know everything. But the reality is, we coddle our kids way too much. And if you let your kid to believe that it's always good to participate,
right?
No one got hit, and they went to the park to burn them. You didn't have to burn them. Just say, I don't want to go to the park.
Yeah, exactly. They didn't do it on the 50-yard line of the field. Exactly. And like you said, to me, it's a learning lesson in life. Is that it's not saying that you personally did bad and should be embarrassed. It's just saying, and that's what one of the coaches said. There is a tradition of burning the shoe, and we used to burn the shoe at the end of the season, like get rid of.
What shoe?
You burn a cleat, like you
Really?
it and you burn it. It's like this season, because we were never good. This season's over. Next year it starts anew. That's
Everybody burned one of their shoes?
No, it was just like one cleat we'd burn.
Got it.
And it would be like, we're burning the cleat, and this is going to just wash this season away so that we start fresh next year. And that's what these kids are going into high school next year. They're 8th graders going into high school. And you're saying, you're going to play for a team that went to the state championship this year. You went 7-2-1. That's fine and good. I'm sure you guys tried hard and all that. It's not saying you're a failure. It's saying we're going to forget about this because this is not where you want to be. And these poor coaches get.
Were they over the top? Yes. It was a little showy. Whatever. I coach kids now, and they're a little older than that. All the parents say to me, and I get on their case sometimes, and all the parents take me aside and say, it's really good you do that because no one ever does that, including them. They know that they don't have the guts, and it's good that you don't accept just showing up.
Yeah,
and it's like, you say that, but then someone goes and burns a trophy, and you're like, well, that's
where were the other parents to come to the defense of these people? The other parents should have understood, this is the tradition in this town. These are the guys that got us here. These guys are donating their time, doing it for free, coaching 8th graders. There's nothing more annoying than a 13-year-old kid. So to sit there with 50 of them playing football must be the most annoying day in the world.
What these coaches need to do.
Come to Norwalk and coach. Would love to have you.
Is just go somewhere else and run up the score.
Yep. And yes, exactly.
That's it's simple. Run the score up.
All right. Well, we got 2 minutes left, though.
I have. You know what?
Give me your potpourri.
All I need is 2 minutes.
Give me your potpourri.
Your boy,
pop culture potpourri.
It's one for you. It's
related to
my
sports.
Boy, Derek Jeter.
Oh yeah.
Here's a guy who's had all the women in the world, and now it comes out that when he sleeps with girls or hooks up with them, he calls the car service for them. They sneak out the back of the Trump Plaza, and he leaves a gift basket for them of memorabilia.
Yeah.
Now this has gone on for a while, and everyone lets him go, but apparently he did it twice to the same girl, the same entry level gift basket.
Exactly.
So she shot him out. She blew up his spot. Now my thing is, with all due respect, Derek Jeter, a ball. I can get a ball from Modell's.
Yeah, right, exactly.
You can't give the girl a bat, a signed jersey, some sort of memorabilia, a ball.
It screams of the most cocky person in the world. These people are gonna say, look, the reason these girls are hooking up with Derek Jeter is to go tell their friends I'm with Derek Jeter. They don't need a signed baseball to tell them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It doesn't do anything. Now, we have a mutual friend who told me a story probably 10 years ago, maybe right after I got out of college. Cliff Dank, you're familiar with the kid.
Yeah.
Good guy. I was in the city hanging out with him. He told me that a friend of his, a girl, met Derek Jeter out at a bar. And whatever, they're talking, she goes back to his place. He went back to get changed or whatever. He comes out with a little bowl full of condoms. He throws on the thing and goes, pick a color. Doesn't even, that's his foreplay. And according to Cliff, the girl said she just walked out. I don't believe that the girl walked out. You go back there, you know what's going on. I'm sure she didn't. But that was the story. He just put a bowl of condoms out and said, pick a color. So I've always known that this type of thing, that story is grounded with some sort of reality. And that was 8 years ago.
You're right. Derek Jeter is a bad guy. Yankee fans, Take that. You always blame the Mets. That's gutless. That's Angel Pagan bullshit. Have a good week, everybody. We're the Tri-State Sports guys.
That's O's first swear.
Yeah.